Hello, Cory. Welcome back to the podcast. It's good to have you.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Are y'all caught up on the video games?
Not so much. I'm falling behind. They keep coming out faster than I can play them. Yeah, all the hard things in life.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Well, here we are talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I have gotten a little bit of feedback from your last visit, and it was all positive. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, and I'm really happy that we're doing this because what my takeaway was that we have vastly different perspectives on how we approach these shows. And that was exactly the feedback that I got, that it was refreshing to hear like a different spin. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
yes.
don't think it's too often that we get somebody who came in to the franchise the way I did to
Yeah.
be on the podcast, you know?
Yeah. By watching over your wife's shoulder at dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. I got sucked in. I couldn't help it.
That's exactly what the universe is all about. And there's a lot of shit going in the Bravo verse on right now. Believe me, it's almost like BravoCon's coming and like, let's just let everything come out of the woodwork. So it'll be a crazy shitstorm at BravoCon because there's a lot of stuff going on. I won't waste a lot of time getting into that. We'll do a whole podcast with Bravo News or at least a segment sometime soon. But oh, Mick Whitney, what the hell is going on? I can't believe for a storyline it's come to singing songs.
Yeah, that
Mm.
was contrived. That was contrived. They
Right?
started it and ended it like that. That was a choice.
And I mean, God bless Whitney, but she needs a tuning fork, brother.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was very Whitney. That was
It
kind
was
of
it was
the
very
mental
funny and
note.
hokey. I just thought, oh my goodness. But so that was an interesting way to start it. And Whitney is trying to, I guess, turn a new leaf by having her love, laughter, and wine luncheon at the estate wine tasting at La Calle Winery. I didn't even know they had wineries in Utah.
Yeah, that's a trip. I mean, you think they got enough space for it, but I don't know.
Yeah, but the weather, right?
Yeah, yeah, the freezing. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I just thought that was bizarre. Anyway, they're going to a winery, which I'm all for. And I thought, first of all, what was your thought about the fact that they were going to have this thing to begin with the timing?
I mean, I guess I didn't really consider the timing of it at all. I just figure, next episode they need somewhere to film.
Hmm.
They got an excuse to go film now. Whitney's throwing an event.
Right. Well, what I thought was really funny was Mary's take when she says the owner killed his wife and then himself, and that there's bad juju in this place.
Yeah, I was like, why would they have it there then? I mean, you think
Why are
like,
we why are we here? What's happening? Bronwyn and Meredith show up, and Mary's comment about Meredith's outfit.
oh, that was great. That was great. You look like a walking virus.
It did look like a walking virus. I couldn't.
I would have never seen that. Mary
Oh, I
has just
totally
like,
saw it. And then of course once you saw the graphic, I can't unsee it, right? But those boots were ridiculous. I just couldn't with her. I don't know. I Meredith, her outfits,
it's crazy,
she's
crazy.
got guts when it comes to style. And it makes me laugh because we know that Brooks is probably behind most of this.
I mean,
He was her
I
stylist.
guess that
Yeah.
would make it more acceptable. At least you could say like, oh, I'm wearing my son's fashion, and that way, it doesn't. You don't get judged for wearing crazy stuff all the time.
Oh no, she's gonna get judged for wearing crazy stuff. I don't even think that's his fashion per se. I just think he styles her. So it's all bad any way you look at it. But we wouldn't have an episode if we didn't have Meredith showing up in something crazy. Um,
It's more exciting than the silk pajamas Lisa's going everywhere in these days.
Thank you. I said something about that in the last episode. Like, is that a new thing? Do I need to order a bunch of pajamas for the holidays and all the parties? Like, I don't get it. Why are we doing that?
I don't know. It's giving like I'm too old to try
I
anymore.
was
Kathy
gonna
Hilton
say it's
vibes.
giving, I give up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Sadly, or I guess it is sadly, I saw Sheena on a podcast wearing the same thing. So I don't think age related. I think it's more fashion, which, well, we don't have to jump on every
Yeesh.
fashion trend,
Yeesh. Terrible.
right? It's like going to the store in sweats. Dad did not like that growing up. He still hates it when I go to the store in sweats, and I'm like, sorry, I have cute sweats now. Anyway, let's get back to the show. So, in comes Lisa, and I don't know if you caught this or not, but she was carrying the envelope. Didn't you? Did you see her get out of the car with an envelope? And then I think her phone was on top of it. And then she made that comment to the driver, like, stay close.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. She knows how to play to the cameras even when no one else is around. I appreciate that.
Right. She definitely she has a storyline going on in her mind, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What I thought was weird was that at least thus far, the envelope has not played any portion. So I don't know if that was just whatever, it was just some sort of a tool that they used, but I expected to have this big O moment
Well,
surrounding this thing that she walked in with.
isn't this a bit of a two-parter? I mean, it seems like there might be room in the next episode to explore that a bit.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, unless we're going to get it in the next episode. But it is not going to be long before the shit hits the fan, and you could almost feel that when she's walking in. Um, so then we hear all about Whitney's revolution and or sorry, evolution and how she's growing and changing and how she's turning a new page and yada yada yada. And honestly, I was a little bit saddened by this storyline. What did you
Okay.
think?
I had to stop and look it up online when she said that she cost her husband her job. I was like, how did like that didn't yeah, I haven't been around that long, I
Oh,
guess.
you didn't watch back then.
No, so I had no idea. I was like, what? How does that even like how does that happen? So I
Oh,
had to go
yes,
online and
sir. The
read the
poll
articles
played
about
a
it
big
and
part.
yeah, it's apparently they're something they did some kind of like a sex positive scene or some kind of an intimate thing that they
They
did.
did one of those where you like throw the canvas on the floor and you paint with your bodies. And it was incredibly sensual and very over the top. And then that same season, she was on that pole all season long, doing all sorts of tricks. So, right towards the end of the season, all of a sudden things just kind of went quiet. And then we find out that Justin had lost his job because of their filming antics.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up the company that he got fired from, and they're like a supplement company that I mean specializes in like junk science, and they're like a one of the articles called it like a bastion of misinformation
Yep.
relating to health.
Yep.
So I'm like, they seem like the company seems like they're not on the up and up anyway. I mean, I don't understand why.
Well,
It's
and
not like they
maybe,
have a perfect image to protect. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, maybe that was it. Maybe they didn't want to be exposed.
yeah, maybe.
And they were looking for an out, you know what I mean? And believe me, if you'd seen that season, they had an out. It was an awful lot. But honestly, that was the Whitney that I kind of loved. Like that was the real Whitney. So that makes so much sense. You don't even really know the real Whitney, and
No.
she's making a comeback this season. I'd be curious to see who you like more, real or old Whitney. We'll see.
Well,
TBD.
I'm sure I like real Whitney better. I mean, she seems more full of life than the rest of these people, and I don't know. If there's anyone on the show that I guess I could relate to a little bit, I suppose it might be her. Just just by virtue of like, yeah, her energy versus, the way the other people act.
Well, and I think it's really refreshing that she's being real this season. I mean, she's always been more real than the others when it comes to just sharing like her real life and what really happens. Her dad's
Hmm.
drug addiction, her issues with the Mormon religion, all those things. But she's talking about the real shit, like the impact of her decision and the business and how that's affected the marriage and how Justin never really wanted to have anything to do with it. That's real stuff that happens in my life and your life. And so it's more relatable. And I think it
Yeah.
gives us a little bit of a different feel to the show because we're not just seeing a bunch of crazy antics.
Yeah, we're not. It's not. It's very opposite energy of Lisa's. My life is different than yours. I'm not like you guys that she gives off.
I really wanted to talk to you about that episode because that was something. I was so tempted to record that little tidbit and then just put it in every single podcast I do for the rest of the year
It's pretty
because
good.
it was just so pompous. It was ridiculous, but totally Lisa, like not surprising at all. So
Hmm.
back to the winery, we find out that Terrence, the intuitive consultant, is flying in, and I have a lot of things to say about that. But before I say anything about that, soothsayers are so, I can't even say it. Mary's comment about soothsayers sometimes as the devils in disguise, and the devil can talk through them, and then you got the close up of the Mary eyes.
Yeah, I don't understand how there's such a big divide there. It must just be the cultural thing because they all like Mormon, like, right? They're all the same religion, or
Mary's
at
not.
least, well, at least they grew up that way.
I don't think Mary grew up Mormon. It's
So she
whatever
just,
her church is, Pentecostal or whatever the heck it is. It depends on
uh,
who you ask. Some say, allegedly, that it's a cult.
well,
That,
yeah, obviously.
yeah. Well,
Isn't all of Mormonism? No, gonna have to cut that one. Gonna have to cut that one,
no
huh?
comment. Listen, I don't, hey, feel free. What I'm saying is that Mary is running this ratchet ass church with nails sticking up out of the pews that she is, I think, trying to sell off as some form of Christianity while being appalled and taken aback by all the things that the girls are doing. And this isn't the first time that she's taken offense to one of the activities that they've done.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's just typical, like, you know, I'm hanging out with other people kind of behavior. I didn't grow up like you. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just, it's
I didn't
just
like it.
marriage.
I didn't like it, but I did like the close up with the Mary Eyes. And I thought about you in that moment because I know how much you love a good Mary Eyes segment.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
then what about I thought it was funny when she was talking too about the salmon tartare.
Yeah, that was weird. That little thing felt forced. I'm like, I felt like I could hear the producer off camera
Really?
telling her like, well, why? Well, why won't you eat the salmon? And she starts going on about babies in her tummy. I don't know. I didn't like that part. That part didn't hit for me.
Interesting. I
In this
thought,
in this episode in particular, Mary was like just not hitting. I don't know. Maybe
oh,
I
this is going to be a good podcast for us then because
don't know.
I
For me,
I
it was all Angie this week.
okay. All right. No, Angie definitely listen, Angie's having a season. Angie is definitely holding her own. I don't know. It almost feels like they're setting her up for a big fall because she has just been hitting on all eight since the beginning of the season. Um, she basically has, talked Lisa into a corner, and Lisa keeps trying to come out with the fight, but she's ending up back in the corner after every episode. So I have this sick feeling in my stomach that there's going to be like a big fall.
Yeah, if Angie and Bronwyn can get on the same page and like really become tight, they together have the power to take down Lisa easily.
They would
I
be more
think.
powerful than Lisa and Meredith ever could be.
Oh yeah, yeah. Meredith and Lisa are just loud. They don't really like Meredith's good. Meredith's calculated, but Lisa, she thinks she's a lot smarter than she is.
Thank
And
you. That's what I was about to say. The intellect is like blatantly different between Meredith and Lisa.
yeah, I
And
don't think Lisa's very intelligent. I think she's vicious and she's quick, but she's not very smart. She doesn't know how to like hold her ammo for the right time. She
well,
just the
and just the
second
way
somebody.
she argues in general, I have it in my notes. It's just
Mhm.
like her arguing is elementary at
Yeah,
best.
she never addresses the point. Whenever something's brought up about her, she immediately deflects and attacks something else. It's like anybody who's taken like a college logic class can see that her arguments are flawed. She doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's because she's busy figuring out that Highland, Alpine, Draper, and Park City are the top four affluent cities in Utah.
That was a
Okay.
funny exchange that there was like four different actuallys in that in that exchange right there.
My house is better than my county is better than your county. Ay, ay,
Ridiculous.
ay. What about Brittany calling her out about about the calling Angie out about the price of her house and how she had mispriced it and why, I'm a real estate agent. Do you really think that this was producer driven, or do you think that Brittany thought she had a chance in hell of even having a conversation about listing her house?
No, I think that that was, I mean, producer driven or not, I think that that was definitely Britney's attempt at stirring up some drama to get her 5 minutes in this week's episode so she could get her storyline and advance her little section of drama that she wants to create.
So
And
it was
then,
her equivalent of clinking the glass and having an announcement.
yeah, it's just bad timing. Britney strikes again. She knew. But then, almost as if on cue, her call from her
Jared
fake
calls.
boyfriend. Yeah, that
Mhm.
was funny. That shut her down immediately. How quick she switched. How quick she was like, she was really trying to zone in on that. And I'm really gonna get Angie with this one. You could tell she was building up to it. She kept on, saying things about how long it was on the market and how it's a bad sign. And then immediately, as soon as he calls, she just drops everything. Oh, Jared's calling.
Yeah, it's there's a really deep-seated issue there with her because the last episode when Whitney was telling her to just take the time because if Olivia was giving her an ultimatum, I mean, you and I could have a whole conversation about that.
That
But
was really crazy. I would not have even allowed that to air. I'm like, if that was me, I would have been like, whatever they say, bravo, bravo. I would have been
right, bravo, bravo, fucking bravo.
like, what are you talking? Like, that's crazy. Are
Yeah.
you gonna? And she's so desperate for a storyline that she's willing to like
To
have that
let that
conversation
out
in front of
there.
cameras. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and worse than that is we find out, as soon as she gets off of the phone, that the 30-day break lasted for 24 hours and that her and Jared are back together. So essentially, she chose Jared over her daughter.
Yep.
And it's okay for her that that's out there. But don't say shit about her hair or she will DM you, dude. We have our lines, we have our limits.
I wonder what would happen if you said something about her daughter.
I don't know. It takes about 30 days to get a turnaround on stuff like that. So then Brittany heads in to chat with Terrence, and the action that's going on at the table is happening as the girls are heading in to get their readings. Okay, so let's just get this out here. Thoughts on Terrence?
I mean, he's clearly full of shit. He asks leading questions the way like he was less spiritual advisor, more interrogating detective to me. He was asking leading questions to try to get little threads of information, and he wouldn't say, "Hey, I see this in your future." He would say, "Why do I see this?" And then they would fill in the blanks, and then he would expound, and then they would fill in more blanks, and then he would ask another question. The guy's full of shit. The whole thing is full of shit.
So
It was
we agree
so
on that.
it
Yes.
was so frustrating for me to watch that. I'm like, how do these people pay this person like money to do what he does? It like yeah,
This is
yeah.
clearly a production plant. My take was similar to yours. He's full of shit. Where it's different is when I watched it the second time, I really listened to everything he said, and every single thing he said has been either on Instagram or on the show itself. So all you had to do was watch the damn show to know these things. Period. End of discussion. And when I thought about that, I was like, gosh, I'm kind of disappointed in production. Do they really think the viewers are that lame? Like that we're that stupid?
I don't think they care. I think it was a good way to break up the fight. It kind of added a little bit of levity to the ongoing fight, and it made it to where they could stretch that fight into a whole episode.
Two, possibly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Without
true.
him, they wouldn't have really. Without him, that would have been a half an episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. And the readings, I mean, I really don't want to spend a ton of time on any of them. I thought that um when Lisa goes at Angie and then they start when they get back and they start to arguing, and then Lisa starts going at Angie, and then Heather is just like perplexed by like Meredith's inability to go at anybody or to go at Lisa the way she goes at anybody else. It's like for some reason, and she even said it, we worked really hard to get where we are. So she just like gives her the benefit of the doubt with everything. Meanwhile, Meredith actually chimed in and had some shit to say this episode.
Yeah, she tried, but then she backed down.
Do you
I
think this
would
is the last season for her?
for Meredith.
Yeah.
I don't see any. I don't know. I've never had that thought. No, that's never come to me without. No, I've never. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
guess
think it might be Cory. I think that she's giving, I'm over it. I have this other thing. I can show up on Next Gen and not have to rent a house in Salt Lake City every year. I'm now a very accomplished and successful DJ with bookings through next June all over the country.
I
Why
mean,
am I
Tom
messing with
Sandoval
these
and the most
biatches?
extras have bookings too. That doesn't mean they're any good. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't. I would. Yeah. I don't know about that DJ description. I don't know.
They did
So
just
I see
get back Tom Sandoval and the most extra. So in case you're wondering, he can now do your cameo for you.
him and Meredith. I'll have a dual
Oh,
cam.
Lordy. That would be something else. Oh, goodness. Okay. So then when Bronwyn headed in to talk to Terrence and then comes out really upset, I was kind of I was kind of bothered by that whole thing. Now, the Terrence a part of it aside, let's assume this was all legit and you come out in this situation and there's this shit show of a fight going on. They gave her all of 1.2 seconds of empathy before they just went back to ignoring her. And it didn't look performative to me. Am I wrong?
No, I think Bronwyn's crying was performative. If you're that shook up about something that a fucking kook said to you based on stuff he's looked up on the internet that he couldn't possibly know, and you're over here crying about it in the middle of what you know is a televised, fight. Like you know that they're videotaping, you know that the fight's going on. It was going on, well, it was starting before you left. Like, and then you come back crying and expecting attention. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, of course, they're not like, you know what I mean? That we're in the middle of something. This is our big moment for the episode. You come out crying, you get 1.5 seconds. That seemed fair to me. I don't know.
Huh. Well, I think that that would be true if I don't know. In my opinion, that would be true if we assume that the guy's a quack. But if you're all in on this and then you're going through everything you're going through with this person to begin with, and then you hear this news, it's a little bit shocking and off-putting. Now, whether or not you expect this particular group of friends to have any empathy in the moment, that might be where you're getting yourself screwed. But I think it deserved a little bit of empathy. And I think maybe 1.9 seconds would have been a little more fair. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. I think Bronwyn was trying too hard on that. And
Do you think
yeah, I
she's
mean,
trying too hard this season?
yeah, in general, yeah. But I mean, if you're literally, there's no reason that guy was essentially giving her medical advice, or it sounded like something close to that. And if you're taking medical advice from someone who's not a doctor, that's laughable. There's no need to get upset over
Yeah, I'll
that.
give you that. I'll give you that part. I think he was reaching, and I'll give you the part where, where he would fish and then he would elaborate based on your responses to his fishing. And that was really apparent, during Bronwyn's portion. Also, to be fair, we don't know what they edited out, right? So
Yeah.
there could be a lot more to it than that we're just not seeing. And that was the one thing that I learned from watching the episode of the Housewives of Orange County that just aired that I was at the filming of.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about sequence, when I talk about timing, segment time, all the things, none of it makes any sense to what really happened that night that I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the outcome was the same. So it's bizarre to see it firsthand and then see, oh, well, now I have to think about what didn't I see, you know, because there's a lot that we're missing that's getting left on the floor that can change what actually is giving us perceptions one way or the other about these people. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we go through the others. Heather, no surprise, her reading is about her love life.
I didn't even get that. Again, yeah, that's not one of those things that I don't know. It's hard for me to put the different timelines into place. When I'm watching the show, I'm in the timeline of the show. I'm not thinking about the stuff that I've read on Reddit that's happening this week in real life. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right, right.
those two timelines don't reconcile in my head. I just kind of keep them separate so I can kind of enjoy the show.
But even
So I mean, I didn't even clock that. To me, that was just again guys digging, guys making shit up, and these women are stupidly falling for it and crying over it.
I thought it was the only way that Lisa felt comfortable revealing that she's having issues. And you don't even have to go back in time to come up with that conclusion. If you just see everything that's been transpiring just this season and how everybody's coming after Lisa for, taking money from somebody else and lying to her husband and with the text about please don't know and the dismissal thing where he supposedly wasn't supposed to be told about the loan and so on and so forth, then it stands to reason that if any of this is true and John is breathing, that he would have some sort of an issue with this. But it
Right.
makes perfect sense that Lisa, being Lisa, would never tell somebody about it.
Yeah, that all kind of goes without saying for me. They're having money problems. Of course, that's going to cause marital issues.
Well, then I guess we just wasted 5 minutes of the podcast talking about something that goes without saying to you. What do you want to talk about, Corey? Do tell.
I don't know. I want to
Uh,
talk about Lisa's 12 threads.
I cannot.
I want to talk about the wind tunnel.
Well, what about Soup Man? You want to talk about who the hell Soup Man might be?
I don't know anyone who makes soup. I don't know anyone who sells soup. I don't do anything illegal with
I
soup.
don't, yeah, I don't eat soup. I don't do anything illegal with soup.
Oh, that's great.
Uh, Angie's priceless. I really hope she doesn't have a big fall from grace because I really do like her. I like her energy. I think she's a lot smarter than people give her credit for. And
I think Angie's fun to root for as like, the good guy. You want to see
mhm.
her take down Lisa. I think Angie and Lisa going against each other is a like a pivotal dynamic from this season that I hope they kind of build up to at the end. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see a big takedown attempt. But usually when that happens in these shows, from what I've seen, it kind of leads to like a schism, and then there's, half the friend group on one side, half the friend group on the
Mhm.
other side, and then 2 seasons later, the show's either breaking up or having to switch out cast members
Right.
because
I was going to
these
say it
people,
eventually destroys the show. Yeah.
yeah, they won't film with this person and so on and so forth, and that sucks. So I
Well,
mean, it's great to watch happen, but the end result is always not always what you want.
exactly. And we see that things are going south between Angie and Mary. I mean, Mary walks out and takes her friendship with her apparently because
That
in
was
the pro
lame. Mary
he
was lame for that one. That one, straight up, that one, like in the moment, I was like, I gotta pause this. This is lame. Mary's just
really
she. I felt like she was looking for an excuse. Like, come on,
to
you're gonna
get
jump
pissed
at
at
that.
Angie?
Yeah, well, she was looking for not to get pissed at Angie, but she was looking for an excuse to stay on Lisa's good side. I think that's what it is. I think
Oh, I don't like that.
no, I don't. She saw Lisa storm out, and she said, "Well, shit, Lisa just stormed out. The line in the sand has been drawn. What can I do?"
I
And
didn't get that spin at all. This is fascinating.
yeah, and Mary not to be outdone by anyone. She's, well, let me immediately storm off too, and she just needed an excuse. That
Huh.
seemed lame. Like literally, Angie barely said anything. She just said, "Hey," she was saying the same thing to everyone. She was saying, "Look, this woman has screwed you over. This woman screwed you over. This woman screwed you over." And then she's like, "Me? Oh, I'm done with you." Come on. That was too much.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I didn't see it that way. That's so funny. I saw it from the complete opposite lens of like,
Interesting.
yeah, this is why you're on the show. This is why you have to stop with the video games and stay on your housewives, young man.
No, thank you.
That's never going to happen, mom.
Yeah, no, I could control the drama in the video games.
I love it. Well, as long as Brittany gives Jared up for Lent, we should be okay. And we'll figure out if this shit's going to continue next week at the winery or where
Mormons
they're
do
going
Lent?
from here. What?
Mormons do Lent?
No, I think it was just Bronwyn's attempt at sarcasm.
Oh yeah, I was like, huh? What-
Yeah, at the end there when Jared
Oh yeah,
did call and
she
then
hung
she's
up on
just,
him. Yeah.
yeah, she's like, he's giving you up for Lent. Bye. She just hangs up. And so, yeah, that was an interesting episode. It's funny that we've had such different takeaways. I kind of love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'll
kind of
keep
love it.
watching. I'll keep watching.
All right. Well, I'll keep trying to reel you in to talk about it. And in the meantime, I was able to reel you in to take my 2 tickets to Temecula Crush because I had a scheduling conflict and happened to be tasting wine in Mexico that weekend. So, as part of the prize that I won from Temecula Passport, shout out and thank you, y'all. We got 2 tickets to Temecula Crush, and that was on September 27th. And Cory and Sara went for a date night. Tell me all about it.
Oh, that was a heck of an event. So yeah, there was like I'd say probably a couple hundred people there. It was more populated than I thought it would be. It was bigger than I thought it would be. There was probably 20 something wineries and food stands at least. Um, and yeah, we it was really nice. We got there, we had a lot of food. I had some wine. Sarah was designated driver, so that was fun.
That's always
And
great.
yeah, we had some really good food, like for like this place Baba June's Kitchen that we went. They had this Persian beef stew. It was incredible. I was trying to at the end of the night remember where it was from, so I had to go back and kind of listen to my own voice notes that I was taking at the event. But yeah, it was really good. Just layers and layers of flavor, and every food booth was set up directly next to the wine booth that was chosen as a pairing.
That it paired with. Oh, clever. Okay.
Yeah, so you would kind of start at one side, and there was just like a bunch of, like 8 foot folding tables kind of lining the little quad area that they have there.
Hmm.
And you would just walk around. You would go get a food item and then a wine. And most places had two or three different wines that they were pouring and 1 to 2 food items to try.
Very cool. So, okay, so it looks like it was at Monte de Oro Winery, right? And I'm looking at the little handout that they gave, and it looks like there are probably 30 wineries there, maybe. Um,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot more than I thought. I actually got this when I came back from Mexico, and I just looked at it today, and I was surprised to see some of the places that have a pretty strong foothold in wine country participating and not having, maybe a crush of their own, if you will. Um,
Oh yeah, I got the hint from the event. I got the feeling that this was one of many events and that all of the wineries kind of have similar events to this and that they all kind of help each other out. Like it seemed like a big group that kind of, oh, we're doing it at your place this weekend. Oh, well, you know what I mean? We'll
It
do it at my place
definitely
next
is.
weekend.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's crush season. So this is when they're harvesting and they're actually doing. So each of the wineries, Europa had had their crush event like 2 weeks before. And then this
Okay.
is the big one. And then you're right. Most of the smaller wineries have events all through last month. And then the better part of this month, they start to switch over to like all their, like Peltzer has a pumpkin patch and, all of their fall and Halloween stuff. I think, is it at Vienza? Yeah, it's at Vienza. They have a speakeasy and it's like spooked out right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's some really cool things, and you're right. It is very much a tight community, and they do try to help each other out. So some of the thing I'm looking through this as we're chatting, and I've had a couple of these, probably more than I care to admit. Um, but I enjoy the sparkling Amor de l'Orange from Ween Cellars. I don't know if you tried that or if that had any interesting, noteworthy taste to you.
Weens, I did not. I did not. We did not get or you know what? I think we might have had a sampling from Weens. I wrote down the ones that I was positive on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was, I remember two different white wines that I sipped and had to pour out. Um,
Okay.
so I mean, that could have been one of them. It's not on
So
my positive list.
first question is, I guess for the listeners, are you more white wine or red wine driven?
Well, I found out through this event that I'm more of a white wine person,
Okay.
but I kind of came to the conclusion because going in, I thought that I was more of a red wine person. I've always, when I have drank wine, it's been red usually. Um, but I think that the reds, they're more consistently like bitter.
Yeah, the
So
tannins.
yeah, so I just say that like white for me is the choice, even though there's higher highs and lower lows with the white wines for me. Like I said, I didn't have to pour out any of the reds that I tried. Um,
Interesting.
but I tend to just, I don't know, they're just smoother. I guess I'm not as much of a wine drinker. So like the one that I wrote down as my number one out of all the ones I had tried was from Belvino Winery. It was their Riesling.
Okay.
And it wasn't, they said when I got it, I'm not a super wine guy, so I don't know how exactly a Riesling should taste. I mean, I know they're on the sweeter side normally. Um, when they poured it, they had told me that this was a more dry Riesling than is typical. And I really liked it. I went back for a second pour of that one, and that was the only one that I had more than one glass of.
Interesting. So you're talking about Belvino Winery's Riesling Butterfly Effect blend, yes?
Yeah, that must be it. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Or I wonder if those are two different. Wait, hold on. I think I'm misinforming people. Belvino Winery had two offerings, a Riesling and a Butterfly Effect blend. You liked their Riesling. Got it.
that
Okay.
sounds
Any
right.
other
Yeah.
notable ones?
Ultimate Winery, they had a good, I don't remember which wine it was that I tried there, but I wrote them down. They were good.
Was it a red one? Do you remember?
Mm, I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I remember thinking that Ultimate Winery was good and Wilson Creek was good. Wilson Creek was
Oh.
one of the first places we tried. They had one of the biggest booths and they were right by the entrance, if you will.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. They're one of the biggest wineries. I wonder if it was the Pinot that you liked.
Could have been. That sounds about right. Because I
They do a
remember
really good Pinot. Yeah.
I think I started, yeah, with the more common, the wine types that I've heard of.
Mm-hmm. Now let's move on to the eateries. You already told me you like Baba June Kitchen. That's at Fazeli Cellars, and I'm reading it. I'm gonna try and say this. Is it game over basmati rice, which is stewed beef, beef tomato sauce, yellow split peas, and Persian spices combined to produce a savory and tart flavor that pairs perfectly with our reds. So would you go to Fazeli for dinner?
Yes. Yes. Baba June's Kitchen, that just the way they layered the flavors in that, it was like that fine dining experience that you only
Mm-hmm.
get when you go to these places that use ingredients that you're not used to and combinations that you're not used to tasting when you got like, cinnamon in a savory dish, for example. You know what I mean? It's just weird, interesting things that kind of wake up the palate. Yeah, to me
Mm-hmm.
that was probably the second best bite of the night behind the pork belly at the Vineyard Rose.
Ah, Vineyard Rose is known for their pork belly.
Now that's the only restaurant that I've eaten at prior to this event.
Uh-huh.
So we were excited to see them there. And yeah, that pork belly, it was one of the best bites I've had this year. It was the fat. I'm normally not a pork belly guy because of the
I know
amount of
that
fat on it.
surprises me. I remember you saying you're not crazy about pork belly.
Yeah, I don't really do. It's just a lot of fat. But the fat was so perfectly rendered. It felt like it was like room temperature butter. You just bit right through it. Oh, it was so good. And then it had this like balsamic wine reduction on top of it. So it was like a little bit sweet but tart. And then a sliced like shishito pepper that looked like it had been like torched or I don't know, lightly seared or something. I don't know. It was amazing.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah,
Sounds
really good.
yummy. Yeah, we've stayed at South Coast and had dinner at Vineyard Rose. I think it was right after you guys did it some years back.
Hmm.
And I've always thought it was very underrated there. It's one of those places that you forget about when you want to go for like an upscale meal because I guess because it is in wine country. But I enjoyed my dinner when we went.
Yeah, South Coast is our favorite winery,
Well,
definitely.
You're definitely going to need to go to Bolero because what you're saying with regards to the flavors and the layering and the ingredients being put together in interesting ways to come up with new flavors and sensations that you're not used to, you could definitely get that. So we're going to have to go do that at Bolero. In fact, they just changed their menu to their fall menu. So I have cause to go back now.
Nice.
So overall, you enjoyed the event. Were there any other noteworthy places to eat?
I have to mention Batter Up Bakery. Now they
Oh,
were not connected, as far as I know, they're not connected to a winery. They weren't
they're
like a
not.
rest. Yeah, so that place had the longest line. They were the only place that had a line the entire night. And I'm talking like 10 people deep at least. And their cake was amazing. I'm not much of a sweets guy, but their cake was freaking amazing.
I'm so shocked by this. I can't remember the last time I've seen you have a piece of cake at a function.
Yeah, the only reason we had to do it because again, Sarah wasn't drinking, so she wanted something sweet once we were there for a little while. And we just had to get in line. We had to try it because of the line. We saw how many
Hmm.
people were there, and we saw everyone who was walking away just seemed to have that wide-eyed look of like, "Oh my God, this is so good," after they took their first bite. So yeah, I think we had like two different cake types. I remember one was like a berry, some kind of berry cake, and I can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, they were just so fluffy, so like just so good, so good.
Well, I know you
That
had a really good evening for it because I was in Mexico and we had very similar weather. And then they had music too, right? Jack French was performing apparently. How was the music?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, when we walked up, I remember looking over to Sarah and saying like, "Oh, I don't think I'm gonna vibe with this music." It was very like, it was just one dude. He was like a singer-songwriter type, with an acoustic guitar,
Mhm.
and I just didn't think I was gonna vibe with it. But I don't know, maybe it was the couple glasses of wine. Maybe it was just the atmosphere. But no, he was really good.
Wine
I
country.
gravitate towards music, so I ended up like a moth to a flame, kind of just eventually finding my way wandering over in front of him and before long, there was a group of people standing around clapping, lightly,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it was fun. Yeah, he was doing, top 40 stuff. Like I said, remixed in a kind of singer-songwriter, one-man guitar type of style. He was good. It was mellow. It was cool.
That's the MO for wine country. They usually have like one person, and most of the time, no offense, Temecula wine country, they're really mediocre. But every now and then you'll find someone that you're like, wow, I really enjoy listening to this person. They don't have to necessarily have an amazing voice or whatever. It's just the vibe that they give off that works with what you're doing at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it was good vibes. Not
So,
not an amazing performer overall, but a good vibes.
so given that you're not really a wine guy, you're more of a beer drinker, right?
Hmm.
So given that you're not really a wine guy, that your wife wasn't drinking, um, and but you did go and enjoy the event, would you go back?
I would go back. Hmm. Yes. Yes, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the situation. For the price of the ticket, I think it was a good value. Um, but I can't really see myself putting, $300 up front for me and my wife to go enjoy our night. Even though when you do that, everything's paid for. You don't drop another
Mm-hmm.
dollar the rest of the night, which is nice because I would probably would have spent about the same amount if we would have went out for like,
Right.
sushi and drinks or whatever, a nice meal and a movie or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean the value is there. It's just not really being a wine person. I mean, I would prefer if this was like if they had like a beer version of the same event. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if you were a wine drinker, you would say this was great value, it was a good night, and you would probably go back. The only reason you're not as gung-ho is because you're not really a wine drinker.
Yeah, the value is absolutely there. Like I said, Sarah had a great time. She wasn't drinking at all, so for her, it was all about the food. And yeah, just doing that alone, I'd say it's definitely worth it. Whether you drink wine or not, the cost versus the time and just the atmosphere. I mean, it was definitely worth it.
A cool date night. Well, there you go. Well, thanks for going and sharing. I'm kind of jelly. I didn't get to have the pork belly, but that's okay. I was at Fauna in Mexico having a five-star meal. Ha ha.
Nice.
And
Well, I've
I'll,
heard that that they have the pork belly year round, so I don't think you're out of luck if you want to go try it.
yeah, nothing too unachievable. That is true.
Hmm.
That's actually the plan for this weekend is to try to get out to wine country for dinner. So maybe we'll land at the Vineyard Rose. Who knows?
Yeah, Ultimate Winery, also good. Don't rule them out. They had their wine and their food pairing was good. It was like some kind of tomato confit. Sarah really liked it.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to ask around and find out. I've never heard much about Ultimate Winery.
Yeah, I had
So
never heard about them either, but we were talking to the owner. She was a real nice lady, and she said that they were trying to come up, that they were, scrappy, and she made a comment that, we don't have any see-through floors or anything too crazy. She kind of made that comment like, we don't have a lot of stuff at our winery, so don't come looking to be, visually knocked off your feet, but we're on the come up.
those are my favorite kind, the small
Hmm.
little, where you can talk to the actual owner and the or the grower. I love that. So
Hmm.
for me, that would be my favorite. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm really glad that you spent time talking with me about Salt Lake City. Hopefully, I'll be able to reel you in again.
Yeah,
And I'm glad we spent some time together. I will see you soon, I'm sure. And until then, thank you for hanging out with me and spending some time living on the verge.
of course, aren't we all?
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.